guess who's back? And guess who's been busy building a fence? Yes, it's not a wall, it's a fence. And that's as far as I'm going with that conversation. Anyway, Rick is back. Rick is in the Red Rocket facility, and he's basically built a giant fence around the whole perimeter, or as close as he can get. Why? Well, stay tuned to find out. So, you've experienced Fallout 4, the vanilla game, and now you want to know what it can be like modded. Welcome to Fallout 4 Mod Elation. Have fun. First up today we have settlement management software, and this is another one of those, does exactly what it says on the tin mods. My Modulation series is probably semi-famous for, amongst those of you who watch it. However, what I will say is this: you get a holotape that gives you the options to find out just about everything there is to do with settlements, what your settlers are doing, what they're assigned to, anything that isn't assigned, if you've got any guard posts lying around, what your other settlements are doing, your trade routes, anything you can think of to do with settlements is covered by this tape. However, you are going to need a terminal. This tape will not work properly to its full potential in the Pip-Boy alone. I'm not quite sure how they set it up, but yeah, you need a terminal inside the settlement, and the tape needs to go in that terminal in order to use all the fantastic features of this software. However, one other reason I'm using this mod is because you can mark the attack spawn points, and why I'm doing that will become obvious next. There is another mod that this mod complements very well, and in order for me to show you the effects of the next mod, I'm going to have to turn those spawn points on. This is a great mod, I fully recommend it. Now, getting on to the next mod, Settlement Attacks Beyond. Yes, this is the mod that holotape helps with. Why? Because although I am running around my hastily crafted junk fence to keep out the super mutants and the raiders, well, in the vanilla game, a lot of your settlements have spawn points inside your build zone. Yes, when you get those messages saying Red Rocket is under attack, you rush back and the super mutants have spawned inside the walls. Now, what is the point in putting up a perimeter with 9,000 rockets, 10,000 laser turrets and miniguns and all the rest of it if they're just gonna spawn inside the walls? Come on, Bethesda, come on. So yeah, this is where Settlement Attack Beyond fixes that little issue. Now, as you can see, thanks to the previous mod, we can see where the spawn points are. Now, Settlement Attack Beyond has changed the spawn points. I'm not going to bother showing you where they were previously. Needless to say, if you go around from settlement to settlement and look, some of them have some rather stupid spawn points. You know, they're not the Institute. The super mutants, they've got a stick with a nail sticking out of it. They should not be able to spawn inside my walls, basically. And with this mod, they can't. Now, this mod has an optional Far Harbor, well, a Far Harbor file that allows you to do the same for the Far Harbor settlements. And well, quite frankly, it adds one massive piece of realism to the game. Enemies shouldn't appear inside your bloody settlements. Great mod. And now for a very, very simple mod I should have covered a very, very, very long time ago. Craftable, Vertibird, signal, grenades, and you know how this works. Does exactly what it says on the tin. Yes, no more running out of Vertibird signals. Great mod. Next we have a Loot Junkie's new best friend of a mod called Salvage Beacons. Now, you create the Salvage Beacons at the chemistry bench and you get a nice little 3-step pop-up for the first time you do that, explaining what to do. Communication stations are the way to go. You need these, and you're going to need multiple of them depending on how long you wish to wait. Basically, where your settlements are, you're going to have to decide how many communication stations you want, because your, shall we say, salvage team come from the nearest settlement with a communication station. They will deliver to any of your settlements on your trade routes, but they will only send the team or dispatch the team from where you have a communication station. So you might want to set up a few communication stations around the Commonwealth, or even just have the one slap bang in the middle of the Commonwealth somewhere like Hangman's Alley. However, obviously that has pros and cons. You've got less settlers to assign, but they're going to take longer to walk to their destination, collect the items and bring them back. Now, while I've been saying all this, you've been watching me stick a few things in this duffel coat just outside a sanctuary, duffel bag out just outside a sanctuary, and stick the salvage beacon on it. And what will happen is that container will stay full until the NPCs have walked to it and then walked back to the settlement I tell them to walk to. And they walk back to the workbench, as you can see here. Once they reach the workbench, the script runs, it empties that container and directly transfers the contents to your workbench. So don't worry about the NPCs dying out in the wasteland with all your equipment. That actually won't happen. It's a little bit of magic, but they still travel backwards and forwards for the visual effects. However, I encountered a little bug when I asked them to come from Sanctuary. My items still transferred, but because I had the spring cleaning mod installed on this save and it hasn't been updated in quite a while, they kind of got stuck and just stayed in that house for a bit. So I did it again. And this time I took the items back out of the workbench. As you can see, I put them back in the duffel bag and I told the team to take these items to the Red Rocket facility instead. And what happened is, after they got past their nav meshing problems caused by spring cleaning being so out of date, they got stuck in the Bethesda nav meshing problems of not being able to figure out how to get past a fence when there's a gate 10 feet away. This is not a problem with the mod, this is simply the AI of the game. So I removed the fence, the mod kicked back into gear, they walked on through, and as you should see in the top corner, hopefully, as long as my episode 23 Salvage Beacons isn't in the way too much, you should see a little message pop up saying your items have been delivered. There we go. Items have been delivered to the workbench. So yeah, anywhere around the Commonwealth you can get teams of scavengers to do your bidding instead of hauling around a £5,000 backpack. This is a Loot Junkie's new best friend, an absolutely fantastic mod. And finally, the last mod today is the Immersive Drumlin Diner. Now, as anybody would know from the beginning of the game, this is in the north of the map near the vault and near Concord, or Concord, however you want to say that, depending on your side of the pond. Now, the immersive version of Drumlin Diner, as you can see, makes it look far more fortified and lived in. Now the game itself, how can we say this? The vanilla Drumlin Diner feels like it's in the Rad Roach part of the map, where the only enemies you're going to encounter are a few Rad Roaches, a couple of low level raiders, and one scripted Deathclaw. Yeah, it does feel like it's just there, the original Drumlin Diner. However, this feels like it's part of the Fallout world, not the game map. Like I say, the original Drumlin Diner feels like it's just part of the level map. The top northwest part of the map where all the low level enemies are. That diner feels like it's been put there because the map says that's where there's low weak enemies. Now this feels like it's part of a post-apocalyptic hellhole that is the Fallout world. Doesn't matter where they live. Surely to God, at some point someone's going to come along and try to kill them, so why wouldn't they fortify the place? This is the point of mods like this. It makes it feel more real. Yep, this is the other problem with the Preston and the gang heading to Sanctuary. Unless you go with them, become the Minuteman leader and fortify the town, surely to God at some point, some travelling raiders are just going to turn up and kill them. So yeah, this adds a lot more feeling to the world. It feels like these people have survived it and built a business. This mother-son relationship has survived. Great mod. And so we must bid farewell. If you're wondering what other mods I've covered, you can find these by clicking the links for the playlist at the end of each mod Elation video. There you will find the mod categories. However, if the mod you're looking for isn't there, by all means suggest mods for me to review. So until we meet again, until we see each other on another of my videos, have fun, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.